Hello, I am Petter Nyborg, and I invite you to join me on a journey aboard rail bus number 50 from the station of Santa Lucia to La Sierra and back. We are in the former sugar mill region of Rafael Freyre, situated to the north of Holguín in Cuba. Our train departs at 3 p.m. Following our departure is the 3:10 p.m. to Jobal. Segments of the former narrow gauge sugar lines are still in use for the transportation of local passengers. In 1999, the Canadian Adolf Hungrywolf got the privilege to be hired as extra locomotive drivers of the steam trains on the sugar lines. He had a little house close to the big curve between Santa Lucia and Baldwin, and the crew on the rail bus number 50 is eager to show me where his house once stood. Let us go back to the line in 1999 and give the word to Adolf Hungrywolf.
It's early February in 1999, end of the century, though from this scene it's hard to tell which century. Around 1912, American capital built Central Santa Lucia, which is now known as Central Rafael Freyre. A lot of things there haven't changed much since then. I'm Adolf Hungrywolf, and we're at La Caridad de Bariay, one of numerous peasant communities located along the 60 kilometers of 2.5-foot gauge track that's known as Central Rafael Freyre. For several years, this has been my favorite location in all of Cuba.
We are passing Caridad de Bariay, where some of Adolf's locomotive driver friends were living.
Today I'm on number 1390. We'll be going out towards La Tour and Novilla. One of my neighbors and friends is Enrique Santiesteban Fernandez, whom you'll see later on here. I, among other things, taught him to use my video camera, so now you'll see some footage that he shot. If you see me at the throttle of an engine, Enrique will be in charge of the camera. Most of my fellow engineers are shorter than I am, so they use a homemade board set up to stand. But when I stand on it, my head nearly hits the cab roof. And I'm only 5'11". My fireman is Jorge Mayo. The rest of the people are passengers. In Cuba, you ride anything with wheels that's going in the direction you want to travel. Women and children generally get to ride inside the cab with us. The men get to be outside or up on the tender.
The sidetrack in Bariai was a former loading place for sugarcane. In this area, the crews frequently contacted the dispatcher via telephone to receive train orders and instructions. The distance from Rafael Freyre to La Sierra is around 22 kilometers. The narrow gauge line measures 30 inches, which is approximately equivalent to 76 centimeters. The branch line to Peluda is still in use. And again we give the word to Adolf Hungrywolf.
We're heading up the branch towards Peluda, the Boston branch. The light engine is sitting on the main line coming back from Lucia. 4% grade here.
Our next stop is Altona. Here we can see the Y, where they are turning around the rail bus going to Jobal. The rail bus is coming to Altona, passing the Y and go back and into the branch line to Jobal. In La Vega was the former branch line that once extended to Honduras. This siding near Progreso was used when train working for the branch line to Honduras was meeting trains from Ovilla. Today it is no longer in use. We are now at the end point La Sierra, but rail bus number 50 is traveling a little further along the line to the La Sierra Y to turn around for the return trip. The former rail line from La Sierra to its endpoint at Ovilla is no longer operational. The Y in La Sierra was made in later years after they cut the line to Ovilla. The following station after La Sierra is Progreso, where a family of pigs is enjoying life along the tracks. When we are approaching Altona, we get a glimpse of the rail bus that has come from Jobal, used the Y in Altona, and is now heading for Rafael Freyre. Going back to 1999, we join a steam train between Paraíso and Bariai. And then through the big curve close to Adolf Hungrywolf's house. We are crossing under the Carretera Guadalavaca, the main road to Guadalavaca, and later approaching the former mill yard in Santa Lucia. The line coming in from the right is the former branch line from Puerta Vita, now closed. Passing the workshop area, we get a glimpse of old number 1 made by Baldwin in 1882 that are still used for pulling tourist trains. Also one of the former cabooses in the sugarcane trains.
And now we're entering the mill yard at Santa Lucia. At the right is the sugar factory originally known as Central Santa Lucia, now known as Central Rafael Freyre. At the left, the building with the oval roof is the old traffic office for the railroad. And beyond it is the company warehouse with its old clock tower. A train has just come in from Purial at the west end of the line, and to the left sits number 50, our rail bus. It's currently being rebuilt. You're looking into the unloading part of the sugar mill, where the cars are dumped of their sugarcane. In the background is one of 4 Soviet-built diesel switchers.
Passing the former sugar mill area, we can see the wrecks of locomotive number 1389 and 1390. Both of them built by Baldwin in 1912. Then railbus number 50 is using the Santa Lucia Y to turn around before heading for the workshop for the evening. Coming back to Santa Lucia station, we give the word to Adolf Hungrywolf one more time.
There's a view of the locomotive shops from the dispatcher's office. Rail bus number 20, rail bus number 12, both ready to head out with track workers. The weed spraying car.
The locomotive we see in the video from 99 is 1385, the only locomotive until now that has been scrapped. But 1386 is still standing in the yard. Built by Baldwin in 1919. Then it's time to say goodbye and thank you for the company.